What's good, Ravens family? I'm sad after our loss, but today I want to talk about 3 answers we got from the game and 1 question. The question will be at the end, so stay to the end so you guys can answer the question in the comments below. I really want your opinion on it, but let's get right into it. The first answer that we got from this game is that the receivers are good enough to be a difference maker in games. This was one of the big questions that we had coming into the season, but we were not sure if our receivers were going to be NFL quality receivers. We weren't sure if the receivers were going to be able to stand up to the pressure, especially in zero blitz packages. We just didn't know, and based on the couple of seasons before, we just didn't have confidence that they could really win these one-on-one matchups and make big plays after the catch. Now, we knew Mark Andrews was going to be Mark Andrews, but now we found out that we do have options at receiver that are going to be dangerous, and you can't just sell out the box against the Ravens. Regardless of if we won or lost, we have to understand that we, as an offense, put up 31 points, right? 31 points is very impressive for any offense. When you take that into account with the kick return that we got from another receiver, it was just a total team effort that we should be impressed with. Again, you got to be happy with the offense passing the ball. So we just have to understand that our receivers can get it done. Bateman can get it done. Duvernay can get it done as the number 2 receiver. It's just, again, super exciting to see that they're actually rounding into form. And remember, they're going to get better as the season goes on. The second question that was answered against the Dolphins was the Lamar Jackson question. Lamar Jackson is obviously a top quarterback in this league, and he basically does it mostly by himself. He's done it 2 weeks in a row where he's dominated the game without a running game. There's no play action that's working, guys. Remember, we're not running the ball. We cannot run the ball, and we cannot do play action. It's just that simple. It's literally Lamar back there by himself, and the most successful plays is when he's in the pocket, filling up the pocket, choosing who to throw it to or choosing when to run. The screen game isn't really working like that. All that stuff that we try to do, Isaiah Likely in the screen, it was not working. But Lamar is showing that he can get it done when we put the ball in his hand. When it comes to the red zone, that's something that we have to do more. We have to, instead of just drawing these run plays and even trying to let Lamar run it in, we should treat Lamar like the other great quarterbacks get treated. When there's time for Josh Allen to get a touchdown, call a play, you snap it to Josh Allen and you let him make a decision whether he wants to pass it or run it. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. These are the things we have to do. Give Lamar options. He can make the right decision, and he only has to beat one person in these short goal line situations. We don't need to block an entire run scheme for him. Give him the ball, put the receivers in the routes, and let him make the decision whether he needs to outrun a guy to the corner of the end zone or if he can throw a ball to a tight end like Mark Andrews. We need to give him the star quarterback treatment and not depend on our offensive line because they've proven they can get it done. Speaking of that, the third question that was answered is that our run system is just not good. It's not good enough to do it without the star running backs, and the reason is twofold. One, the offensive line is just not very good in the run block scheme. There are no holes. In the past, we were able to run even when boxes were loaded, but now we cannot do that. We need to treat this like we treated last season and let Lamar make these critical decisions. Let's not run it 3 times in a row with 1 yard to go. We have to do what other teams do now, and we need to pass the ball when it's these situations. Give Lamar the chance. We have seen that our running backs cannot do it. We have seen that our offensive linemen cannot do it. They cannot get 1 yard multiple times. I know that the Ravens think they want to be a running operation, but the offensive line is not good enough. The running backs that we currently have in are not good enough. They cannot push the pile. They do not have the engine to push those yards. Kenyon Drake cannot get to the outside on toss plays. We got to stop that. We need to just focus on becoming more like the Bills and more like the Chiefs, where even though we will be happy with a good running game, we have to understand our best player is Lamar Jackson, and the offensive line and the running backs answer the question. Our run system is not good if it doesn't include Lamar Jackson. Before we get to the question that I want to talk about, which was revealed in this game, I do want to give a shout out to the defensive line. It's another part that I think was answered. The pass rush is real. Again, against another team with a better offensive line, Tua and the Dolphins really didn't have that much time to sit in the pocket and throw the ball. The pressure was there. The pressure was constant. It's just he was able to get the ball out quickly because our DBs got beat within 3 seconds because they wanted to play Tyreek Hill one-on-one in some situations. Again, there were broken coverages that happened to quick open receivers, which we have to do better at. But the defensive line is real. Shout out to them. They did provide an answer. So that is 4 answers. You guys got 1 free answer. So again, that's awesome. Now, the question that I have is, what is the Ravens' offensive identity? Because I think that is going to be a big problem as we go into the season. If we're going to go into these critical situations trying to run the ball, we might have issues because I do not think our offensive line and our team running scheme is good enough. I know that this is what the Ravens want to be. They want to be a team that can milk the clock, that can run the ball, that can do all these different things. But I do not think that that we have the skill to do that. Now, that brings up a whole lot of questions. The first question that it brings up is, what is the value of Greg Roman? If Greg Roman is best at scheming up run plays, but for the last 2 years, his scheme has not been good enough to get us to be a good running team, then what is his worth? Other coaches who specialize in different things, their schemes are good enough to get passers open. Again, let's just take the 49ers for example. The scheme that Kyle Shanahan has is good enough to get yards from the quarterback, even though the quarterback is not a good passer. The same thing needs to apply to the Ravens. We need to depend on our offensive identity in these critical situations, but currently our identity is running the ball, but we are not good at running the ball, which is going to cause problems, especially against the best team in the AFC. And hopefully we kind of figure this out before Buffalo comes to town, because that will not be good for anyone involved. We won't win games when it comes down to these last second moments if we're trying to run the ball when we know we can't run the ball effectively. Thank you guys for watching. You guys let me know in the comments below, what do you think the Ravens offense identity should be? Even though we can't run the ball, how can it still be a run first team? Let me know. Thank you guys, and go Ravens.